Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction entertainment industry. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you this week with episode number 488, divisible by 4. That means it is time to do
the news. That one's even easy to figure out by 4.
I know, because 88 is 22. Even my lame brain can't do math in my head, can figure it out. I'm a concepts guy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm good with calculators and stuff. But anyways, yes, indeed, we have a lot of news this week. A lot is going on. And a lot of it's, okay, I feel like I'm saying this every time we do a news episode. We have the same conversation. It's, yes, a lot of news is depressing. We've got some very dead canaries and very big coal mines right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a problem. But we promise if you put up with it, we'll give you treats at the end because our listeners are like cats, and that's how I'm bribing them. Meow!
or dogs.
Or dogs.
Dogs also beg for treats.
Yeah, but dogs don't do it the way cats do. They hit you up on the beeper. They demand you deliver your catnip. Cats are way more bigger assholes about it.
Yeah.
But anyways, if that doesn't sound like what you want to listen to right now, I kind of understand. Check out any other 487 episodes at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly, and wherever you get your podcast from. Okay. So, taking things in order, work we did for the haunt was not a lot this week, to be honest. You did the necessary spraying, washing, and power washing of the house.
Yeah, got most of it done. There's still more to do.
Yeah, and it looks a lot better.
The front does?
Yeah, the front does, and you know what? In many ways, that's the most important part. So yeah, we got that done, but it was also an unusually hot May weekend here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're already hitting feels like 100s.
Yeah, and it was so bad, and this is literally true, over the Memorial Day weekend, our local power company, Entergy, did a quote-unquote load shed.
Yeah.
Or they deliberately cut power to 100,000 residents in the New Orleans area.
Without warning.
No warning.
On a holiday weekend.
And feels like temperatures of 100 degrees plus. And several of our friends were impacted. We were not impacted directly, luckily.
Right.
But that appears to have been just a matter of random chance.
Yeah.
Entergy threw the dart at the dartboard and decided these neighbors get fucked. All of our friends that live on the lakeside got hosed. Mm-hmm. And our friends who live further away on the West Bank and JP got hosed.
And also, on the North Shore, I had a friend who was at a party up there, and the party lost power. Because it was Sunday that this happened.
And it also went all the way down to Plaquemines, too.
Yeah.
Down to like Belle Chase and all that, so way south of the city. It was just totally fucking random. Over 100,000 customers were impacted, no warning. And apparently they sent an email to the impacted customers, like yesterday. And,
yeah, after it happened.
You know, days after it happened. And if you want to have some fun, go to Reddit R New Orleans and look at that thread and look at the shade. It's enough shade to stop global warming. I mean, it was incredible.
I wish it were that easy.
I wish it were too.
If that kind of shade did stop global warming, New Orleans would be number one in stopping it.
Yeah. You know, and we'd all be calling Christoph the Insulter to come out
and help.
And help fix this shit.
Oh, I'm just thinking about all my drag queen friends.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah, all your gay towns are going to be legendary at it. But yeah, so it's been a wild weekend. We did enjoy pieces of it at least. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we did not get much done. We don't have any real housekeeping. We're still trying to nail down when is the best time of Crystal's new job to upload these. We're still trying to keep to a weekly schedule. We don't want to skip weeks, but especially with a holiday this week, things were unpredictable. That's why we're uploading on Thursday right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's all for that.
Mm-hmm. That, and I hurt my shoulder Tuesday, so I couldn't finish the notes yesterday.
Yeah, and heard it from repetitive strain at work. Not the power washing.
No.
Which, I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And how'd you hurt your shoulder? Oh, just power washing the front of the house. How'd you hurt your shoulder? Oh, I was working 12 hours one day and...
I was sitting at a desk under stress and deadline. That wasn't an appropriate desk.
Yeah, or an appropriate chair. Something's inappropriate.
Yeah.
All right, but on that note, everyone, every week we ask a question a week. Last week, our question was, what did you think of the film Sinners? We had a very lengthy conversation about the film and what I think haunted attractions can take away, but let's see what other people said. Jinx Midnight said, loved it, but also hadn't heard anything about it until a vampy friend recommended it after she heard about it from a friend. And this was something we talked about
It is.
in the episode, was that Ellie had not heard word one about it.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. Until you mentioned it to her.
Right.
And I picked it up from social media, and honestly, looking back on it, I don't know if those were ads or just people going to it now. I don't remember. I just remember seeing the poster all hither and yon.
I just remember seeing all of my friends saying, you've got to go see this in theaters.
It's got to go in theaters. Yeah, and that was the message. You want to see this in theaters. You don't want to wait and catch this, on home theater, on streaming or whatever. But she goes on to say the integration of music and the thought that maybe it would be better to side with the quote-unquote bad guys was phenomenal, and I have to agree. Even though I love that big musical scene where they mixed all the genres, it was just amazing. I am a deep sucker for Irish folk music. That may be the whitest thing about me is how much I love Irish folk music.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it's true. I am a deep sucker. And that scene where they were at the campfire doing the jig, oh, that was great.
Sam Farrell said, best film of the year so far. As a horror fan, I thought it hit all of the beats of vampire lore without pretension or reimagining. But as a musician, this film and that scene was almost transcendent for me.
And yeah, that scene being the one where all the genre, oh my god. It's so difficult.
You just have to see it and experience. You can't really explain it.
It's like...
But I agree.
Trying to explain it to someone who hasn't seen it is pretty much impossible. Because there's so much going on both musically and visually in that. Mm-hmm. And it really, the ramp up on it is so wild. Mm-hmm. Because hey, that person's a little out of place. Mm-hmm. And whoa, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. It's such a wild scene, and it was just perfectly shot, perfect music. It's up there for me as one of the best, segments ever committed to film.
Yeah.
Hands down. And Haunted the Roxbury said, so far, the best of 2025. Coogler is the man. I do not disagree. Do not disagree one bit. So yeah, I think so basically, our trusted listeners here have spoken on top of us. It's not just these two idiots saying you should go see it. It seems to be far more than us. Yeah. Which is great. I really, please do go see it if you can. It's worth it, if nothing else, than to see kind of a different sort of horror film that may give you some great inspiration for your haunt or your character.
Yes.
There's a lot of great character work in this too, so even if you're just working on your haunt character, you're going to find shit useful. Guaranteed. All right, well, on that note, it's also an even episode, which means we do conference reminders. Crystal, you want to kick us off? Oh, sure. Whoa, that reminds me. Sorry, go ahead.
You forgot about the question?
No, but then I remembered where actually go ahead, you're setting it up.
Oh, okay, sure.
We'll overlap this way.
June 6th through the 8th, it's Midwest Haunters Convention at the Rosemont in Illinois.
It's at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont.
Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. My cursor was not in the right place, and I couldn't just scroll over. Friday's screening of Haunt Season, tour of abandoned haunted house, seminars, costume party, and more. MidwestHauntersConvention.com.
And this week's question of the week, and I'm going to pretend like I planned this, because this actually was the question we put down. But yes, are you going to MHC? And if so, what are you looking forward to? Let us know at all the places we exist. HauntWeekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and YouTube.com/HauntWeekly. Now, after Midwest Haunters Convention, It's Michigan Haunt Fest, June 20th through the 22nd in Munich, Michigan. The Oaks Campground, demos, make and takes, Saturday raffles, and costume/makeup classes. Looks like a lot of fun. MichiganHauntFest.weebly.com.
July 26th and 27th is Texas Haunters Convention in Irving, Texas at the Irving Convention Center. It'll be featuring a trade show floor, haunt tour with dark hour, game night. TexasHauntersConvention.com for more info.
And finally this week, Haunt Mayor Expo is July 26th to the 27th, the same days, but it's in Fresno, California. A totally different state. There are the Fresno Fairgrounds featuring 5 haunted attractions, 3 escape rooms, and a rage room, various special guests and horror panels. HauntMayorExpo.com. Sounds like a lot of great horror haunted attraction conventions coming and going these days.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm happy to see it. Always happy to see it. All right. Well, we got to knuckle down and do the news.
Yep.
Fun part over. Well, for the minute. But anyways, yes, indeed, it is time to do the news. And this week's first couple of stories are on the sad side, but going to try to get through them and hopefully, like I said, at the very top of the show, end on a positive note. Our first story this week, Six Flags America and Hurricane Harbor in Bowie, Maryland are set to close after the completion of the 2025 season. Their last day they will be open will be November 2nd. After that, they will no longer be reopening. According to Six Flags, who operates both of these parks, they do not fit the quote-unquote long-term growth plan.
Yeah.
And to read the you want to read the quote, because
okay.
You do the better quote voice.
As part of our comprehensive review of our park portfolio, we have determined that Six Flags America and Hurricane Harbor are not a strategic fit with the company's long-term growth, which is what you just summarized.
Yeah. But you see, I would have read it in a very mocking voice.
Yes. Well, fine. After reviewing the number of options, we believe that marketing the property for redevelopment will generate the highest value and return on investment.
There you go.
Better?
Yeah, so basically now, for those who suck at geography or never heard of Bowie, Maryland, which I'm pretty sure is one of those things describes almost everyone listening, this is part of the Washington, D.C. metro area. In fact, if you look at it on a map, it looks like it's practically in Washington, D.C.
So it seems like there would be plenty of people to go to a theme park.
You have a very large population center. You have a tourist economy there. But granted, I don't know how much of that tourist economy is going anywhere near Six Flags.
Right.
Because I think they might have had, with tourism, they might have had the same problem that the Six Flags New Orleans had. Which is people come to visit New Orleans as tourists. They ain't going to Six Flags or some theme park.
No, and the theme park here was like you had to have a car.
Yeah, and it looked like it was that way with the Six Flags America too. If you were just like going to the Smithsonian, the mall, the White House, all that stuff, you needed a car to get to Six Flags. I don't know if public transit goes out there, but it was not like right on top of the White House.
Right.
Oh, hey, in 4 years, who knows if there'll be a roller coaster in the White House? But the point is,
I'm seeing more of a circus thing.
But the point being, I think it had a lot of the same problem, that if you go to D.C. as a tourist, it's not to go to theme parks. No. You're going for those things I just listed.
Historical, museums,
government, museums, memorials. You can make your own list, and it probably will not include a theme park. But even without that, that is a huge population center that should be able to sustain a theme park. And according to Six Flags, it's not.
Well, and I'm wondering if by long-term view, what they're doing is they're freaking out about the same thing that colleges are. Because there is going to be a significant dip. It's coming up soon. And the number of young people available to go to college or available to go to theme parks and, by chance, haunted houses. So maybe that's what they're looking forward and seeing, is that there just aren't enough young people to continue.
And theme parks, by and large, have the same target market that haunted attractions do.
Yeah.
The other thing that may be an issue specifically with DC, and once again, I have not looked at the figures here, this is pure conjecture, is that DC is a government town. It is the government town. Government towns often have a large population, but often not a large number of families, because people move there for government roles. And if they have a family, they don't bring them, leave them behind somewhere else, as a means of saving on money. It's because DC is also a very expensive market. I remember when AOC got into Congress, she struggled to find a place to live because even making congressperson money, she couldn't find an affordable place.
Right.
So that was a trip to Dick City to hear that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I wonder if that's also part of it. But this is a really big dead canary in a very big coal mine right now for me. This has me more as much as the other stories coming up, and there are a few. This one has me probably the most worried because you can say what you want about the theme park industry, and I will say a lot of shitty things about them. Six Flags, we still haven't forgiven you for the Haunted Castle fire, for one. We remember. But they are very good at future projection. They know when something is going on, often before others do. And that's because they know their whole business model is very sensitive to these shocks. And so this may be a situation where they're quite honest about long-term plans. Because this may not be a wall they would hit in 5 years, or this year, or next year, or 5 years even. But, it could be 10 years. Like you said, it could be that wall you were talking about with the fewer young people coming up. The baby collapse, as some have called it, I believe.
Yeah.
The opposite of a baby boom, the baby collapse.
Yeah, exactly, because people stopped having as many kids.
Well, I mean, and we didn't have any kids.
Nope.
We're part of the problem. And I'm proudly part of that problem.
I know.
But no, so, jeez. Yeah, this has me worried about long-term prospects of the haunted attraction industry.
As does this next story.
Yeah.
Because
this one has a bigger one on this year, but yeah.
Yeah. But Spirit Halloween has canceled their opening store experience. This is an article by Brendan Brightman at 10 Philadelphia. But they're citing international disruptions and supply chain issues. So same things that caused issues back when COVID was around. But yeah, the Egg Harbor Township grand opening event is not going to happen this year.
Yeah, the big spectacle event where they introduce all the new products.
Yeah.
And like 5,000 people come out and do this giant thing. It's in the Philly area. It's in New Jersey, so it's, once again, Philly metro area. That's why this is an article from 10 Philadelphia. But yeah, they are not doing it this year and have specifically cited supply chain issues.
Yeah.
Now, they did say in both their release and this article, we originally saw their press release. I'm just linking to this article for convenience sake. But they did say that they still anticipate to have all 1,500 of the stores open on time starting opening in mid-August.
Yeah. They
usually do a staggered opening, but yeah, starting in mid-August. I think that's mighty bold.
Yeah.
You know what? I get it because right now things maybe don't look quite as bad as they did a month ago. But who the fuck knows? That's been the whole thing, with this administration more than anything. It's been the uncertainty and not knowing what tomorrow brings.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, we had a story that we were going to include and just don't think we have time to get to. But
and it's not direct to our industry, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's a story out there right now called The Uncertainty Epidemic, stating that the uncertainty of consumers is higher than
ever, even during the pandemic.
During pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, and the article is by if you want to seek it out yourself, by Philip Hernandez in In Park Magazine, IPM.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we almost included this as a full story, but it seems like we have enough of a theme of uncertainty without including it. So yeah, the consumers are not sure, and in this case, Spirit and others are not feeling particularly confident either. I mean, this has been a tradition for some time.
Yeah, so having, a major theme park closing one of its locations, and now Spirit Halloween saying, sorry, we can't.
We can't do our big bash this year.
Yeah.
We promised to be open in time.
Yeah, that just...
Yeah, and my
like you said, really big canaries.
Yeah, and it does not inspire any confidence in me.
No.
Because this is the part where I like to say, oh, but we have this, this, and this, and it's like, yeah, I don't really know.
Well, no, and especially because, like, a lot... So I feel sad for the small costume shops that used to be here that were local mom and pop places before Spirit really took off.
Yeah.
Because they're closed for years now.
Yeah, they haven't been around in like at least 10 years in most cases. But they would have had the same supply chain issues.
They would have.
They were getting the same costumes from the same people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this is one of the reasons why that year we were able to go to the Halloween and Party Expo.
Yeah.
When it was co-located with HauntCon here in New Orleans, we were able to go to both. It was very interesting to see those costume companies.
Oh, yeah.
And see what they're doing and how they're marketing and really, get a first-person view of this stuff. It was really interesting. And my God, right now, you have to wonder what's going to happen as far as Halloween and Christmas decor. I think Christmas may get a boost by it being a little further out. But okay, here's the thought. And this is a crazy thought.
Okay.
Because of supply chain uncertainty and all the shit that's been going on, I wonder if Christmas in major stores is going to be later this year for the first time and as far back as I can remember.
So I'm going to take a stab and say no.
Okay.
And the reason is that we already know some of the big box retail stores put in all of their orders for the rest of the year, basically.
Okay.
So I think that they're going to have them in at the same time, and they're not, like, the individual stores don't have places to store all of that.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to see.
You could be absolutely right.
Supply chain disruptions.
We'll see.
I mean, and this is what we saw during COVID. You mentioned it during COVID. Mm-hmm. It has very unpredictable impacts.
Yeah.
And it's because every company and every product is in a different place. Mm-hmm. Every store, every product, everything is in a totally different place based upon who makes it, where they make it, what the tariffs are on that place, where they're shipping to. Everyone's in a different place. So, yeah, the Spirit canceling this does not inspire confidence in me, and neither does the next story, which is that Greenbrier Farms is closing to the public, but will host a quote-unquote trio of seasonal offerings. This article is by Jimmy LaRue at Wavy, W-A-V-Y, I guess is probably how they say it, but I'm calling it Wavy. In Chesapeake, Virginia, Greenbrier Farms is immediately closing to the public. They will have they will sell Christmas trees and do some Christmas stuff. They will have their strawberry patch and their pumpkin patch, but other than that, they will be closed to the public. They are blaming this on, quote-unquote, increasing operational restrictions from the city of Chesapeake permitting and zoning, as well as the Chesapeake Health Department. They will no longer, the main reason they're appearing here is because they will no longer host the Haunting at the Farm, which was their haunted farm attraction. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you picked that up.
Yeah.
And they will end all of its Christmas activities other than selling Christmas trees and providing free photos with Santa.
Yeah, it sounds like there's strictly going to be a farm with a photo op.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
Basically it sounds like the only non-farm related activity they're going to do is, as you noted, the photo op, which is free.
Yeah.
Now, So this means no haunted house, no fall festival, no derby day, no Easter egg hunt, or other events. This article, and this is one of those times where the article really is interesting, goes on for all the events they did. They basically had a year-round, like this is what a lot of haunts dream of, is they had a complete year-round schedule. They were always doing something. Every season you can think of, they had something. And they had something going. And now all but like the bare minimum of that is gone. I don't know. I mean, I'm a little confused because they say it's based upon the operational restrictions of the city, but they never say what those restrictions are.
Yeah.
Like in other cases where we've seen this, we usually know more about what those restrictions are. Oh, they're saying they're trying to rezone us as X. Or they're trying to eminent domain our land, like we've talked about a couple of times. Stuff like that. Right now, they're just kind of vague. They're basically vague booking, you know, toward these departments. And my thought is, they seem to be very popular with the community. So why not, get community support if that's the issue? Because, I mean, we've seen other haunted attractions make that work, especially ones that are extremely popular and well connected in the community. Now, if you recognize the name and you're not from the region, the reason is because they made national news in June of last year, of 2024, when they hosted a rally for then candidate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder if maybe that had a hand in it. I don't want to cast aspersions, but it's like whenever you pick a side, especially right now with things the way they are, you're basically cutting your audience in half. I always say that, be political as a person, but as a business, keep your business out of it type thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's money is just as green at the end of the day. Now, obviously that's not true for everyone. There are plenty of very political businesses who make it part of their culture and their marketing. But if they didn't do that going in, then they probably were dealing with some angry people on the backside.
Yeah, and we have no idea, because of the vague booking, if that plays into this at all.
Yeah, and that's what's so weird about this, is I read a couple of other articles about it, and we really don't know what these issues are. Because they didn't say anything other than that quote of, basically we blame the city of Chesapeake. I don't know. I can't make anything of that.
Nope.
So I guess it's sad to lose another haunted attraction. It's sad to lose one that was doing a lot of great year-round work. But we don't really know why. What's up?
Nothing. I am not saying anything else.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's move on to the next one before we get a more interesting email.
Yeah. All right. Long Island Haunted Firehouse, a new chapter in haunted entertainment. This is a press release we found it on Bar Chart. And Marty Araminsky, hope I got that close.
I think you got it pretty bang on, actually, looking at the spelling.
Is going to launch Long Island Haunted Firehouse, Inc. Previous creations that they've built are Chamber of Horrors, New York, and Blood Manor, New York City. So, it seems like they've got a lot of experience in building haunts, and so now they're going to bring the newest endeavor, which transforms the Farmingville Fire Department into a haunted spectacle. The event, basically 20 themed scares, eerie clowns, ghostly apparitions, offering attendees immersive horror experience, which I know that we say that that's what haunts are, but we don't need to all use it in our marketing. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, and... one of the, it's like reading this, both Blood Manor and Chamber of Horrors are well-known haunts. So that's pretty well cred. The one thing I think I'm gotta knock this guy on, though, is this very uncreative naming scheme.
Yeah.
How many Chamber of Horrors are there in the country again? I think there was one in each state, basically. One for each state. And Blood Manor is not particularly creative. And then there's the Long Island Haunted Firehouse.
Farmingville Fire Department is now going to be Long Island Haunted Firehouse. Yes.
Yeah, so naming maybe not the strong suit. But still very interesting because they obviously believe in and are investing in and trying to grow haunted attractions. And I find it interesting that they are doing all this inside one state.
Yeah.
They're not trying to, well, at least not yet, but they're not trying to become like a national force.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, it's interesting. So they definitely are trying to grow and expand their offering. So, like I said, maybe the canary's chirping a little bit. Right? All right. Well, next story. Now we're getting into the more fun stuff. We're ramping up, folks, to the more fun. All right. Next one. Ivan's honor student brings animatronic Minotaur to life. This is an article on the stgeorgeutah.com website. A ninth grader at Vista School Public Charter. Say that 5 times fast. Please don't.
Yeah, and sorry, the article's by Stephanie DeGraw.
Thank you.
Missed putting that in the morning.
It's all right. But the ninth grader has a quote-unquote passion for animatronics and special effects and created a towering animatronic Minotaur for a school play. Mm-hmm. It took them 6 months to build this.
Yeah. Now, this is a special school. Like, they focus on animatronics and science and stuff. But yeah, this one's definitely worth checking out the article because it doesn't say, that was one of the weird things, omissions, is they don't say how tall it is, but when you look at him standing next to it, it's like at least twice his height.
So we're going to assume well north of 10 feet.
Yeah, probably between 8 and 10.
Yeah, we need to get one of them 12-foot skeletons to put next to it.
Yeah.
12-foot skeleton for scale.
Exactly. That's exactly what we need.
You get the 5-foot skeleton and the 12-foot skeleton for scale, right? Mm-hmm. This should be the new haunt industry standard. How many giant skellies tall is it? Measuring man to the rescue.
Is it just a leg bone or is it the full thing?
But yeah, he said he was introduced to professional prop makers in the Halloween category by watching videos on Distortions Unlimited and Poison Props. Great places to learn. Which helped him learn what mechanics they use. Mm-hmm. They do professional animatronics that are more aggressive for professional haunted houses, he said. So his is a little more gentle.
Yeah.
Probably not a bad idea, let's be honest.
Right.
But yeah, the video, this is definitely when you go check out the article. The video is great. Minotaur is very impressive. And like I said, they don't mention the height, but it's I would say at least 0.75 skellies.
Yeah, yeah, at least.
At least.
Yeah.
At least 0.75 skellies.
All right. I'm going to let you take this one because I want to take the last.
All right, that's fair enough. All right. So... And this is just a random piece of great news that tickled my funny bone, and I figured a lot of you might like it as well. There is a new Vincent Price documentary getting ready to come out. And it features interviews with Rob Zombie, Mick Garris, Caroline Munro, Alice Cooper, and many, many, many more. And this is the article we're pulling from for this is by Cody Haman at Joblo. Joblo.com. But no, it's a new documentary about the legendary actor Vincent Price. They do not have a release date for it other than this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it, especially when you're taking a documentary on the film circuit. You probably don't know when distribution's going to happen, if it's going to happen. But yeah, they're clearly putting it out there for potential distribution, and they've released a trailer on YouTube. The full film runs for 136 minutes, so basically 1.0 Sinners.
Yeah. Yeah, I am looking forward to this a lot.
Yeah.
Vincent Price has long held a place in my heart, and if you're too young to know who Vincent Price is, go now and just look it up.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his films, some of his films at least, are in the public domain. Mm-hmm. Which means you can literally go out on any...
Yeah, there's an entire playlist of when he read the
The Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe series.
Yeah.
Short stories.
He was also the creepy voice in the Michael Jackson Thriller video, which if you've seen that and you got chills listening to the monologue toward the end of it, blame him.
Yeah.
He also played the dad in Edward Scissorhands, so I don't think that's a great role to see Vincent Price at his peak.
No.
What would be your favorite Vincent Price film?
Oh, gosh.
I know, that's an impossible choice. I like choosing my children. I was going to say, for me, if I were going to say to someone, this is the film to see Vincent Price in, I would say House on Haunted Hill. The original, obviously.
I think Last Man on Earth.
Ooh, good one. Of course.
Of course, if you really want to see him at his absolute best, just pull up the videos of him with the Muppets.
Yeah, oh God.
Because I love those.
Or, if you want to see him in a very difficult situation, watch The Tingler.
Yeah.
Because that movie necessitated him to say the stupidest shit ever put to paper in history. And he made you fucking believe it. I don't want to hear anyone complaining about their lines being shit. If Vincent Price can make that crap fly, it can be done.
Yeah.
The problem is, you're not Vincent Price. Which, to be fair, no one is.
Uh-huh.
But yes, just listening to him go, yep, totally attached to the spine, lives off fear, makes total sense. Yes, sir. I'm with you the whole way.
Oh, yeah, that's what that makes you tingle.
Yeah,
you
right.
get scared.
We're riding this train together, but wait, that's stupid. You kind of wake up after the movie's done, wait, that was dumb. What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh, God. But yeah, he's been in so many films, and yeah, we could go all day about Vincent Price, but this new documentary has us completely stoked, and the fact that Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper both, Alice Cooper famously having worked with Vincent Price on multiple occasions. Yeah, just awesome. I am excited. Please, 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 someone pick this up and put it into my streaming very soon. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I would love to see it. And finally this week, we may be ending a few minutes early.
What else is news this Newsweek?
Yeah. Hot Dolls is going to be at Midwest Haunters Convention, which is next week.
Also, the question of the week this week.
Yes, exactly. It's the brainchild of Alex Berland from Conjured Media. Disclosure, I did work with him for a brief period a few years ago. And it's in partnership with featured artist KDA out of Kentucky, Moonheller Productions, costumer Brandy Beast. If you have not seen Brandy's work, you are missing out. Do amazing work. Los Los Chicago's with James Pallas, one of our old friends.
Been on the podcast more than a few times.
Yeah, we probably need to have him back soon.
We definitely do. Especially now we're approaching 500.
Yeah. But anyway, at Trans World, they did a soft launch of the Hot Dolls, which featured personalized crocheted characters of haunt actors. And now at MHC, they're being very top secret about what the experience is going to be, but they say that it will be a one-of-a-kind event. And you will leave with a limited edition display piece and a story to go along with it. So that sounds interesting, and if you want to check it out and report back to us on what the fuck they're doing, stop by booth 3039.
Yeah, this hits at a lot of intersections for us because Ellie, our girlfriend, runs a yarn store, so knitting, crochet, fiber arts in general, big part of big part. Jake's Palace. Obviously a big part. Alex Berlin, obviously a big figure too in our lives. And so yeah, this just comes together at all these intersections, and I love the idea of getting a custom crocheted Bernie doll.
Yeah.
Complete with little Bernie cane. Bernie cane, Bernie cane. Get a crocheted Bernie cane.
Yeah. And I don't know if, and this is called In the Flesh, by the way.
Yeah.
The event is. And I don't know if it will be crocheted or not, but it will be something unique. Yeah,
and this is really, really cool stuff. Personalized, crocheted or created characters. And they're, like I said, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird for us to get a press release which has both a lot of information and no information at the same time.
Yeah.
So, no, we have no idea what the fuck the experience is, but we know everything about who's behind it and what they did at Transworld.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
basically we like the people.
We like and trust the people, so yeah. Brandy B, everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, this is an Avengers Assemble moment in their own way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all in all, some neat stuff happening. But yeah, God, I gotta say, I'm worried. I'm ending this month's news episode a little bit on the worried side. And one thing we didn't discuss, and this was, by the way, also almost a news article, but it wasn't direct enough, was news about WWE tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Ticket sales have been abysmal, apparently. And even though the product has been pretty popular on Netflix, ever since the move to Netflix, it seems to be, well, I mean, the last few weeks apparently been the drizzling shit in terms of viewership. But in general, they've been doing pretty well as far as viewership and popularity goes, and apparently they're having trouble selling even small arenas. Now, some have blamed this on them significantly hiking ticket prices. We went to the last WrestleMania that was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
34. And I found out after the fact, we didn't pay for our seats. We worked out a trade with some friends who were going.
Yeah.
Gave them a room to spend the sleep in while they were here. They took care of our tickets.
Yeah.
Our tickets were about $60 each.
Yeah.
So it's a perfectly reasonable trade. Hotel room, save them on a hotel room. They bought the tickets. Apparently, when they were planning on bringing it back, and that's been undone, and there's some chaos there, the cheapest tickets were going to be $250.
Christ.
So that's a pretty tremendous jump from like 5 years ago, 6 years ago or something.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It was pre-pandemic.
No.
I think it was like 6, 7 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, still a huge jump. But they've been really struggling to sell tickets, even in smaller and smaller venues. And, you know, this is another worrying sign because people are becoming very price sensitive. It used to be WrestleMania, you know, or today you could basically charge whatever they wanted for tickets without worrying about it. People would show up. And that's less the case right now.
Yeah.
So that also is a worrying sign. And going back to that article about the age of uncertainty that we're in right now, no one really knows where we're going to be in a month, 2 months, 3 months. And I think that's got everyone a little bit spooked, and that includes us.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining us for the past 45 minutes or so. Greatly appreciated. Please check out more Haunt Weekly at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/hauntweekly. Until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week.